Hey guys, it's Conf here, and we are exactly 1 week away from Great Adventures 2024 opening day. I know there's been a lot of content getting everyone ready for opening day, but in this video, just like I did last year for the 2023 opening day, I'm going to go through all the information we currently know about Great Adventures opening day for 2024 and go through what we should have as our expectations for Saturday, March 16th at Six Flags Great Adventure. Now, of course, this marks quite a few milestones. For one, this is among the earliest the park has ever opened for the season, at least to my memory. I can't think of a time the park opened any earlier than this. They've never been open for St. Patrick's Day weekend in my memory, so this is monumental. They've never done this, and I think this is a sign of what's to come in the future, which is really exciting. And of course, this marks the 50th anniversary of Great Adventure. This is a huge year. We're going to see a lot of stuff happen, and it all starts on opening day. And it looks like this opening day is going to be starting off really well. For starters, just like last year, I am going to take a look at the current weather predictions for Saturday, March 16th, which are looking fairly good actually. So, of course, we're still a week away, so we never know how accurate they're going to be. But currently down in Jackson, they are calling for a high of 66 degrees and a low of 52 degrees. It is going to be cloudy, but this is perfect theme park temperature in my opinion. It's warm enough to be able to wear shorts and not really too cold either, so the ride should be running fairly well. Of course, they're going to need some time to warm up and break in for the season, but this is prime weather for them to do that in. No rain is in the forecast, which we always love to see. And in addition to that, the wind is not looking bad at all. Wind speeds are going to stay around 7 to 9 miles per hour for the majority of the day, with gusts being up to 21 miles per hour. So of course, the only ride that would really be impacted by that is King Ka and by proxy Zumanjaro, if those gusts do get high like that. But otherwise, I don't really think we're going to be having any issues with weather. It's looking like it's going to be fairly good. Maybe not the nicest looking day like we had back in 2022. That was one of the most gorgeous opening days in my memory for Great Adventure. But the weather will be fairly good. It won't be bad. It won't be great. It'll be just fine. Now, of course, we know there's a lot of new things coming for the 2024 season at Great Adventure. Not only do we have a brand new roller coaster, Flash Vertical Velocity, we have new stores, new restaurant upgrades, refurbishments to classic attractions. There's so much happening, and on opening day, I wouldn't expect most of that to be ready to go. We've seen some updates from the park on their social media pages, and of course we've been able to see what we can see from the drone. Starting off with the Dream Street pathway, I'm really curious how they're going to go about doing this, because as far as I know, rides like Medusa and El Toro should be open for opening day. I say should be because unlike last year, we don't have the list of rides permitted to operate. That's basically what the state of New Jersey uses to list what rides they've inspected for the year and are good to go. We don't have access to the 2024 list yet, which is definitely a little unfortunate. It would help out a lot in figuring out what will and will not be open, but I'd imagine that they're probably going to have almost every ride open, at least shoot for that. I know they have a lot more staff this year than they did at the beginning of the season last year, which is really great to see. I know there's a lot of great coaster enthusiasts that work for the park as ride operators, which is awesome. The only rides that may not be open for opening day are Superman and Green Lantern, given their location on the boardwalk and proximity to the parachute tower, which we're still not 100% sure what's going to wind up happening with that. And Runaway Train, I imagine they may need a little bit more time. They might even be doing something special, considering this is going to be its 50th birthday. So we're going to have to wait and see on that for sure, though. But like I was saying with Dream Street, I'm curious how much of this they're going to have done, because that's a pretty major pathway for them to have closed. Last we saw, all the concrete is poured and they just haven't installed the bricks yet. And of course, the bricks is quite the undertaking because a lot of them are personalized, which if you haven't gotten your brick yet, I highly recommend doing so. The replicas are being shipped out now. But it's going to be really cool to see that all come together. I don't know that it will be ready for opening day. Maybe they'll just have temporary empty bricks, the ones that don't have any engraving in them. Maybe they'll put those in, that way we can at least use the pathway. But there is still a gap from the existing pathway to the new pathway, so I'm not sure if they're just going to put a new layer of concrete in there or how they're going to address that. But there's that to keep in mind. We also have quite a few new restaurant locations and refurbishments. We were informed very recently that there's going to be 3 new roller coaster coffee locations. Not sure where they are quite yet. We have to wait until the park map is released, which we also don't have yet, so stay tuned for sometime this week when that is released. We'll be going over everything new on the map, but we have to keep an eye out for where those locations will be. We know that there's going to be some updates to facilities like Best of the West, Totally Kickin' Chicken, and a few others, so going to be paying attention to that as well. And of course, Main Street Market is undergoing a refurbishment, so I'm not sure if it will be ready for opening day, but something to keep a lookout for on opening day is new merchandise. From what I understand, the park is gearing up to have a really good merch game for the 2024 season. I'd imagine we're going to see a lot of 50th related things in the merch shops. We also don't know what the merch situation is going to be across the shops. Typically, they have a lot of the coaster merch in Six Flags Universe, but that could change now that they're redoing Main Street Market. We also have that little building next to Six Flags Photos that they may use. I've heard that maybe that could be a 50th anniversary store. Not sure yet, we have to wait till we get to the park, but lots of exciting things we'll be seeing up at Main Street. And as for food location availability, we're really not sure what that's going to look like. Typically early on in the season, there's going to be a limited amount of offerings across the park. Like I said, though, staff is definitely higher this year than it was last year, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But definitely don't be surprised if there's a lot of food locations that aren't open quite yet for the season. That's typically how it goes. Usually during spring break, it'll pick up a little bit with more locations being open, but really until the summer season starts when they're open daily, not everything is going to be open. And of course, the same can be said about ride availability. Though I am hearing that this year is looking pretty good to have every major ride open for opening day. Of course, that does not mean that every ride will be running at full capacity, and that usually is the case early on in the year anyway. So if you see coasters on one train or two trains depending on the ride, like Nitro or Jersey Devil, don't be surprised. Like I said, this is the earliest the park has opened in park history as far as I know, so this is pretty unprecedented, especially considering they just closed on January 1st. So it's a very small window to do maintenance and get everything ready for the next season, so cut them some slack for sure. I'm sure operations will definitely make up for whatever limited capacity there may be, because the operations team at Great Adventure is fantastic. Something else I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on is the VIP lounge. Like I said earlier, we learned that Best of the West will be returned back to Best of the West, so I'm guessing it won't be a VIP lounge anymore, which means the only other VIP lounge in the park other than the garden in Houdini's Queue, which I'm not sure if they're going to have that open this year either, is the one inside the old Chiller Observatorium building. So I'm curious if that's going to be open on opening day, how they're going to go about doing that, because during Fright Fest and Holiday in the Park, they themed it to each event, and they were actually open for you to just walk in no matter what. Later on in Fright Fest, they opened it up, and then during Holiday in the Park, it was open to everyone at all times. So I'm really curious to see what they do with that. If they keep it open, maybe they'll theme it to the park's 50th anniversary or give it a more generic superhero theme to fit in with Metropolis. We'll have to wait and see. That's definitely something I have my eye on, though. And of course, an attraction that I'm sure you're all wondering about is Barnstormer. And Barnstormer, for all we know, could actually open on opening day. I know it was supposed to open way back in 2022, but things happen, of course, and we are at the stage now where the ride is ready to go, fully done, landscaped, everything is ready to go, control system. So I think we could see it open on opening day, honestly. And if it is open on opening day, you know we're going to go ride that, because it's been a very long time waiting and we're very excited. If for no other reason, just the fact that we've been covering it for so long, and to see it finally open will be really cool. But other than that, that's pretty much everything. Of course, know that crowds can be hit or miss on opening day. 2023, it was fairly dead on opening day, mainly because of the weather. But 2022, it started off not too crowded and then quickly picked up and got pretty crowded later on in the day. And judging off the temperatures and weather we're seeing here, plus the fact that Great Adventure is opening way earlier than any other park around, the first regional parks just started opening this weekend, like Dollywood and Carowinds. So Great Adventure being the weekend after is definitely unusual for the park. Hershey Park doesn't open until the end of the month. Dorney doesn't open until May. So Great Adventure is going to be the only park around open for a little bit, other than like Six Flags America. I believe they open a week after. So definitely expect to see a lot of coaster enthusiasts at the park, because there's no other park up here that's opening this early. So props to Great Adventure for being able to pull that off. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of opening day stuff coming up throughout the week as we get more updates on what rides will definitely be available, the park map, etc. So make sure you're staying tuned to get the best Great Adventure coverage. But with that being said, I'm Colin from Hollywood Studios, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, guys.